we're back. My microphone wasn't working. What? Fine. With a giant fleet. And, right, we still need electricity. Let me slow down the game before our friends come back. And, want resources again.
Reporting in.
Because they always want resources. We need electricity to study stuff. So we need a power plant. The question is, where are we going to build it? I mean, we already have one there, so it would make most sense to build it there. Somewhere here. I mean, why not? Yeah, we're going to do this. We need electricity, we need a power plant. Question is, where are we going to put it? I mean, the best place would be here, with certainty. Let's do it. Oh, I see we have one tiny problem. Okay, that was unnecessary. We can do that. Give me a second. We can do the sewers. And we can do this arch. Yeah, we're going to do it symmetrical. Relatively. I know this is one space bigger. Engineer. Yes. Our plant. Yes. We're going to bring this in. Wonderful. Now we just need a heckload of railroads. Let's go to... it's one too far. My eyesight has betrayed me. Okay.
People celebrate your leadership.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of celebrations. There's our fleet patrolling. I mean, one of our fleets. Attractiveness, 1,000. I mean, we have a lot of battleships. That's attractive.
Fleet awaiting orders.
I want these placed there. So, in case she dares to annoy us, we're going to crush her immediately. Okay, so that's going well. What about our expeditions?
Be the star to steer us.
Zoological expedition, the minefield. At the cry of mines, all rush to the pro. There is an interesting video on YouTube from inside a US warship when they were under attack and when they got the warning missiles inbound. And it's quite interesting to see how the crew was trained and reacted to this. I mean, a big problem was that a lot of equipment stuff laid unsecured on shelves and other places, and of course in case there's an explosion or any other kind of impact, they would become secondary projectiles and potentially hurting people, killing the salesmen inside the ship. So, out of instinct, at least some of them, not all, immediately moved on to store, to check, to secure these in a matter of 3, 4, 5 seconds. That was quite impressive in terms of training. To see. Sure enough, several of the conical terrors bob seductively below. Who knows how many of these infernal machines have passed us by or yet await us? A false move, and this sea shall be a lake of fire. What the devil do we do? Diplomatic papers, try to navigate. Plus 10% chance. We are masters of the sea, sing the triumphant crew as the ship waves easily beyond the last line of mines. Even Odysseus, when faced with Scylla and Charybdis, lost men, we have lost none of our company, and our bonds only strengthen. Soon a special bottle is being uncorked. I had to read the story back when I was in school. We had to translate it from Latin. But don't expect me to translate anything in Latin. I can translate something in Latin if I have vocabulary, I don't know, dictionary looking up next to me, and if I'm allowed to look up grammar. If you understand the basic principles, it's relatively easy to do it with certain equipment at hand, but on your own, without having any other text to help you, then it's going to become a problem. And soon a special bottle is being uncorked and toasts raised to the continued success of the expedition. Okay. Of course, continue. You have 100%. Continue immediately. You fool of a duck. Zoological expedition.
I'm not sure you'll be one to get your mitts dirty.
What is your problem? Please explain it to me, grumpy old lady. I don't know what's the problem, but... Botanical gardens, scholars... I see, so scholars want coffee, of course they want alcohol. And they want coffee. Okay, so missing goods. Well, go forward. And what might be helpful is if we go with the third railway. Why can't we cross the street there? Okay. You know what? I want...
Production has stopped.
Our industrial place a bit more secured. In case any tourists start saying hello, and then surprise, surprise, dying, right? Because it's not a safe harbor. This is an industrial area. Very, very dangerous. No good for tourists. Okay. We have another quest, right? A quest called... yeah, the Jad, we will find that, hopefully. I don't know, in a millennia or so. What else do we... oh, we have other items. Okay, so... wait, what? She brought back her share? I'm sorry that that's not allowed.
We are good stain once more.
What did
and
just
in
happen?
need of your generosity.
Oh, come on. Again? Dude.
Climb the rigging!
They will be most disappointed I have lost ground.
Yes. I'm not disappointed.
Attention for the Admiral.
So you're going back to Envesa, Tabarim, and they need stuff again. What do you need? Dried meat and hibiscus tea again. What a surprise.
New orders.
What a surprise. Dried tea.
We have the elevators, so let's elevate our ambitions.
Room coming over.
Sky's
chill,
empty,
dude.
so we fill it. We'll be
So-
kings in no time, looking over our beautiful
Ducy
kingdom.
Anthony's. Ducy. Find that which is banned when floating but delicious when sunk. I'm relatively sure they're talking about food. Bland when floating, delicious when sunk. Yeah, sunk in a sauce, or maybe in a water container or something. I mean, I don't know. Or maybe it's something else. I mean, what do they have? What is that? Hibiscus. You can make tea out of hibiscus.
A competitor's island withstood
Tea is
an attack.
delicious when getting sunk into water, so it is food. The question is where we're going to find hibiscus. That's hibiscus. Did we do it? No. Did we? That's it?
The hibiscus flower is the image of what we seek. Here in Kidusi and Itoni, knowledge nourishes us, that we may bloom in the eyes of the Lord. The library is restricted to servants of the Lord. The texts here are holy scripture,
Wait, what?
guarded from unsanctioned influence.
But I did it! Grumpy old lady,
This
I did
will
it!
certainly help us
Oh.
survive.
Yes, of
One
course.
must learn to see with the inner eye, the eye of the soul. Tell me, which of the buildings on our island is largest?
Wait, what?
The Aku. It seems we will be starvation safe for some time yet.
Select the largest structure. The largest structure. I guess.
Our temple is but a frail offspring of the mighty halls of the Elamais. Tall walls and ornate ceilings, but shallow roots.
I guess the library or what?
Yes, our library is vast, but is only the cloud-swathed summit. Look to the roots hidden beneath.
Roots hidden beneath.
The library is restricted to servants of the Lord.
Wait, what?
The texts here are holy scripture, guarded from unsanctioned influence.
What's the root of all of this? Not a lighthouse. The largest structure. Physically largest, or largest in importance, largest in historical value, largest in religious value? What do you want from me, old woman? I mean, water is the root of all. That is important. Or statue of a religious kind. She wants a structure. I don't know. Maybe the north wing? West wing, the east wing.
The library is restricted to servants
Yes,
of the
blah,
Lord.
blah.
The texts here are holy scripture, guarded from unsanctioned influence.
There are not that many buildings that we can press. Use. That's the route. That's probably the large structure. Canals. Something. Oh, what is here? Cool. Small passage through the mountains. I like it. That's not what she wants. Maybe the trading post? diving into things that are buried. On any of your islands. Wait, what? No, in Kidusi. Maybe buried. There's nothing buried here. Agent Sculptor?
Long ago, our library was a beacon of learnedness in a world of darkness. But the treacherous kings of Kashta burnt it all.
Production has stopped.
Okay.
Now it is interred deep below our island. But to those who know, the high walls and pale altars live on all around us. Your understanding is starting to blossom. The time for admittance is at hand.
Oh, we've done it. We are now worthy to enter.
The library is restricted to servants of the Lord. The texts here are holy scripture, guarded from unsanctioned influence.
In nomine oblivionis.
The library is restricted
You
to
passed
servants of
the
the
first
Lord.
test, stranger.
The texts here are
and
holy
discovered
scripture.
our symbol, the hibiscus. Scentless at first, yet delicious when submerged. Tell me, what did you make of it? Once it, well, knowledge to bloom. Quite accurate, but at the root of this metaphor is our awareness of the many senses we as humans are gifted with. Hearing and observing the world leads us to wisdom. Observing, smelling and tasting the hibiscus taught us that very lesson. You passed the test of sight and discovered the hidden roots of Kidusi, Anitoni, the ruins of the old library. Now, tell me, what do you make of it? Many tomes of learning were lost. Oh, there's an history of writing. Lost? No. Such is our purpose. Okay. That was a mistake. Of course. Oh, yes, she said that all those that remain remember the high walls and stuff. But remembering won't help you if no one read the books that are now gone, but... Okay. Ours is a millennial faith and unchallenged tradition of the centuries. Takes devotion as students and scholars of that faith to understand the simplest tenets of the wisdom stored here, and keeping our minds and bodies free of the corruption of novelty, and to better hear the wisdom of the winds. Ours is a spiritual labor of heart and mind. Menial manual labor distracts from our holy mission, something that the Urania of Katema have forgotten. They sew and craft, but in the process they forgot their duty to their people's soul. We will not share in such discrepitude. Your Lord would have us blend into his people, his united faith. This is a betrayal of all that we stand for, until he decides to build his empire around the true ancestral faith of Enbesa, and encourages the Irania to refocus on their spiritual duties. There can be no harmony between us. I hope to make him see the truth in your words. A wise choice. You are quick to understand our ways. The glory of Kidusi shines in your words.
The priests of Kidusi acknowledge you.
Consult the books. Okay.
You show yourself to be worthy of trust. Lift now the veil and enter our famed library.
A day in the life of a priest. The priests of...
Resourceful, aren't you? Very well, let's get to it. All great nations spring from a golden age, a time of splendor and legend. The books are over there.
Our strict Rules and rituals on every god-given day. Duties, morning ablutions, noon ablutions, evening ablutions, rituals, all
There
ablutions.
are volumes here on every aspect of theology, history, science, or poetics. If you read, please turn the pages by their corners.
We
A
formed in the holy
competitor's
pool.
island is under siege.
All. Time between ablutions can be spent in the village. Labor and crafting are prohibited. Only the followers of the true faith of Enbesa may live within the community. Only ordained priests can wear the traditional tattoo of Kidusi on their face and wrist. New recruits shall show their naked wrist to prove their identity. So were the rules laid out after the dark rule of Surya, whose flames devoured all books on Kidusi. Cursed be his name. The foundation of Enbesa, and as they rode the waves, seeking the promised land, the queen bid the gods calm the raging storm. And so the gods did comply, and the waves rose higher than mountains on either side of the ship. Yet the waters before us were becalmed and clear, and ahead lay the golden plains of Enbesa. So the queen did lead her people through the sea, where leviathans roam, and build a mighty city there, and in that city she raised a temple to her lost husband Zelamawi, and those who had stayed with him in Siliamidos beyond the confines of the world. A litany of the blessed death. Dead. Lebanese year 52, Gopher, death by meerkats. 61, Adera, death by boulder fall on the mountain path. You've seen that one. 96, Lulu, death by falling off the mountain path. Oh dear. Post Lebanese year 1, Tilaun, death by severe sword injuries. Noteworthy belongings, old spear, entrusted in the Ogdor, old spear. Holy smoke.
Production
That's
has
what we
stopped.
want. 24, Abia, death by drowning in a keg of sweet wine. Oh, that's not a bad problem. Death. Note to self, check integrity of cellar letters. Possessions. 1,365. That's exactly what we want. Treaties on heresy, the Golden Age. Heresy in that which the powerful would not see survive in their dominion. It's an interesting concept to define heresy. Heresy is that which the powerful would not see survive in their dominion. In the Golden Age, Surya burned down the whole of Enbesa, in his very country. In a rage of madness, he branded the Kidusi outlaws and heretics, and tortured anyone who would not renounce the true faith. Many died. What's interesting is that every faith thinks that they are the, participants or followers of the true faith. But I don't know, only one can be right, and if there are 100 contestants, that gets complicated. But the true meaning of heresy is a lie to the soul, I can agree, and any physical representation of divinity can only be a lie, as divinity transcends what the servants can see. It depends, maybe divine beings like physical representations, we don't know that. Thus, idolatry is a heresy. Christianity and Islam. They want to know your location.
I hope there'd be more, but these are all the books we have. Hardly enough for a full chapter.
Troglodyte architecture. The tradition
Ship
of carving
constructed.
homes into the very rock of the mountain seems to have originated in Sile Amidos, but the people of
Ship
Enbesa
constructed.
gave up on this architecture as soon as they settled in the promised land, for mountains were scarce.
A
Following the
fellow scholar of the
depredations-
Golden Age. There is much we could discuss.
On the Sun King Surya on Kidusi. However, the burning of the library and all it contained, and of many priests' home, Kidusi Nitoni resumed the practice of rock dwelling, building their temple within the living rock of the island, so that it should be indestructible. This happened right after Surya's reign under the age of the princes. And the last book, the Ogdoad of Virtues, 8 senses: touch, sight, taste, smell, hearing, wisdom, emotion, and instinct. I'm not sure if the wisdom and instinct are senses that everyone has, but okay. If something expresses itself through each of them, then it must be divine, as nothing connects us human senses better than divinity. Senses are a way of feeling and understanding the divine, and as such, training each of them is a virtue. Training but one is for naught. I kind of like this concept. Train all your senses, especially if it's wisdom and emotion. Wisdom, knowledge, intelligence alone is worthless. Always teach a child morals and emotions as well as wisdom, all of the other kind of spooky stuff. Since not everyone is aware of this, but even a mass murderer can be highly intelligent. Intelligence has nothing to do with morals. Many societies want extremely intelligent people, but that is only viable, feasible, if you also teach them morals. Imagine you have a society of highly intelligent sociopaths. That's a problem. So intelligence alone is not good. You need to pair intelligence with morals / emotions. The good ones. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Depending on what you believe. Discuss the Golden Age. Discuss the Golden Age, yes. Report. You have it! But this mention of an Odguard, why would they reference a book? It must be a mistake, or perhaps it's a riddle. Of course, they wouldn't have just written the spear's hiding place down. Clever, clever. I need some time to think this through. In the meantime, why not investigate and see if you can find anything else that might help us? Okay, let's make a decision.
Take your time. Look around. I doubt we'll find it immediately, but any clue might lead us in the end to the spear.
Oh, yes. Discuss the Golden Age. Things that should not have been forgotten. The Golden Age ended in the cruelty and bloodshed of Suria. That much is well known, but its foundations are unclear. Few sources have survived the ravages of time. Oh dear. Library of Alexandria. There was another big one. Write down the name in the comments so I know that you have a brain. Even in this place of learning, there are barely even any mentions of the early years of Enbesa. Outside of the book you found, what did you glean from it? Wait, what? First day could be the day. Myth or history? Did the scribe who carved these careful lines know of sources lost to us today, or were they lending too much credence to popular belief and legend? We shall never know. Such is the peril of learning. Our conclusions are transient themselves, as are whatever choices we make. We must lend caution to our thoughts. Accounts are precious, but fallible. Only evidence. Traces from the very time you wish to study might yield information on the fabled Golden Age and the
Production has stopped.
Of Enbesa. But where would you look for such traces? The Emperor's city was built on the ruins of Enbesa's first capital. Vahadesha. Vahadesha has roots as deep as Enbesan history, but these roots were Kashtan until long after the foundation of our nation. Even the oldest monuments, such as the Oracle, were probably built by the Kashtan or pre-Kashtan hands, and besides, most of it was destroyed when Kashta burned and salted the land only half a century ago. Nowhere other than Kidusi Anitoni will you find land untouched by greedy or violent hands for countless centuries. If evidence of Suria's time is to be found, it will be in this ground on which we stand, where the mad king's inquisitors burned the old library. Interesting, that was my first choice, library. But then I was like, Village bound to the ground. There's nothing there. 2 millennia ago.
History becomes legend, legend myth, and even myth is half forgotten. But why not dig up the old library? There must be traces to be found.
Quite right. Archaeology is the queen of all disciplines. Go, dig, dust, douse. The evidence should be enough to complete this first fragmentary chapter.
Ship constructed.
Oh, ship, nice. And I want another one.
You are accustomed to such undertakings.
Battle deck to attention.
Gather a crew and supplies, and we will support you.
You know what? The fleet
Big
is big
smoke,
enough.
Admiral.
I mean, 6 battle cruisers. That's enough to take on everyone. Let's build another fleet.
Battle cruiser ready.
This time we're going with regal plating static.
Engines underway.
Let's see. Oh, oh yes, we need more ships. Of course, we need more. Missing
Beware
goods.
the sweet words of the priests of Kidusi. They are cannier than they seem, and would see their faith vindicated rather than bow.
A bold new expedition, Admiral.
Oh dear. It's a story for another time. Bye bye.